course, that's even closer from here, right? Big Tree down to...
About 3 miles.
Yeah. Did you used to go to State Line Speedway?
A long time ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
What do you remember about the old days of State Line?
What do I remember about it?
Yeah.
Oh, it was kind of a muddy, dusty, dirty old place. But in fact, we had a camp down on the Courtright Road.
Did you?
That's down that way. But the State Line there, we got a kick out of that. You know, we come out of there and it was wet or something. Somebody gets stuck, and everybody was in a hurry to get out of there when the thing was over. And then we used to take the kids down there, and you couldn't bring a beer in there or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So she took an old army blanket and wrapped up 3 or 4 beers in the arm.
I just laid a 6-pack over my arm, put the blanket over it. You know, they're all...
I haven't been down there in years and years and years now.
Running booze on the side, huh? Okay.
So they were down there during the Dean Layfield and Squirt Johns and Bobby Schnars.
And the guy that, what's the guy that used to work at the phone company there? He was
Oh,
yeah.
I know who you mean.
He was a hot rod. He was one of the main top. He was the top car there for a while.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name now. I will in a minute. But
so George, you from the area here? Are you a bus stop guy?
no, we lived in Craigtown
Okay.
for 33 years up on Brown Street, if you know where that is.
I've heard of it, yeah.
And that's right off Wood Avenue there. But then we started looking for a house, 33 years. It got to be like 3rd Main up there on up there. It was Wood Avenue, and then the school. They built the school there, and then the Bradmar Village. And what else did they? They got to be like 3rd Main up there. You couldn't get out on Foot Avenue. You couldn't do nothing. Let's start looking for a house. So we looked and looked and looked and looked. We couldn't find anything we wanted. So my son was acquainted with this, the guy that lived down there, Floyd Proctor, and his daughter.
Right.
And one day he come home and he says, I know where there's a nice piece of property that might be for sale. So I got a hold of well, he knew the name of the guy that owned it, John Ostrom. And I went over to talk to him, and he says, yeah, I'll sell it. And there was 90 acres there, and then there was divided up into 330 plots. So we couldn't even get off the road down here. It was just brush and trees, and but now this is all woods all the way back up through here.
It's gorgeous.
And we burn a lot of wood.
Mm-hmm.
And of course I got hot water baseboard heat, which I use for, we use it half and half. This time of year we almost have them both going. And so we decided maybe we'd buy it. So we bought it and worked cut and brush. And then the next year, that was 1987, 88, we bought the property and then started clearing the brush off.
You've done a great job. It's spectacular. It really is a great house and home. You were born what year, Mr. Hanson?
1931.
Born in 1931, so you would have been 10 years old on December 7th, 1941. Pearl Harbor. Do you remember anything about that day?
Yes, I do. my dad and I remember we sitting there listening to the radio, of course, you didn't have TV. And it was on the radio, and we all grouped around the whole family grouped around the radio and listened to that. And I know I was around 10 years old. It started, 31, 41.
Yep.
So that was,
And do you remember any conversation? Did your parents talk about it? Like, gee, this is going to change our life at all?
no. But actually, I think a lot of people back in them days, they didn't know what really was going on, this is something all new, and I think they were kind of skeptical of what to think.
Mm-hmm.
And that went on for, they were just gradually just worked into it, And of course, I was just a kid, 10 years old. And kids 10 years old don't think about things like that.
Sure enough.
And that went along pretty good. Then I remember all the war stuff, we used to do the war things at night, with remember the old cans that they used to carry around with a. Oh, you were not old enough for that.
No, Phil is.
And then when you go outside and make sure everybody had the lights off
Really?
and all that stuff. And it was interesting when you
Do you
think back.
remember ration tickets, or did you remember?
Yeah, oh yeah, ration tickets.
Mm-hmm.
We had ABC and for gas. You had A tickets and you didn't get much gas. And things were tough back then too, economy-wise. And we, they were looking for people to work and everything, and the war brought all that on, and then there was all kinds of work, I guess, as far as I remember. And then there was right up through, when I was a kid, we had 4 kids. There was my older sister, and I was next, and then I had 2 brothers that were younger than me, and things were tough, and my brother and I went out on the farms and worked down in Lander, and we worked there for, the thing is, I worked there down there 3 years, and he worked down there 2 years. And then I became 16. I got a job at Hope's Windows. And so then I scratched away down there for 16, 17, 18. When did I go in the service?
21.
I was 21, yeah. I got drafted.
52.
So you were drafted into the service.
Yeah. And
This would have been 1952?
May.
May of 52.
here's a picture of the draftees right here.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
We all went in a bunch, got on the bus and went off for Buffalo. Maybe you know some of them people there. Well, you can't tell now, that's 60 years ago.
Yeah, Carl Bodell, though, was a Bodell over Cash and Anderson. He
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And there's me right on the second one back here. Went on to, we took off for Buffalo. no physical, no nothing. We got to Buffalo, and they took a physical, and they wanted to know if I wanted to go in the Marines or the Army. And I had my choice.
Oh.
What's tell us all about it, you know? Well, the Marines is 4 years, and the Army's 2 years. Well, give me the Army. And the way it worked out, we got out in 21 months. And the other guys that went to Germany, well, a lot of them went to, that group there went to Germany. I don't know why they went over there, but they wanted a bunch of them over there, and so we kind of got all split up.
Why would anyone have signed up for 4 years with the Marines? They had to be nuts, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
'Cause that would have.
I had a good job down in Mount Rockwell, and I went, and I didn't want to really leave that, but I had to. And
How come you were not exempt? Because Marlon Rockwell, of course, was a defense manufacturer. How come, as an employee of a defense?
well, that's true. That's true. I hadn't really thought about that, but of course, a lot of guys were exempt because they were what, pharmacists or some other people, and so I didn't think it was fair either. But they just picked on us. And another fella in there, I went to. He lived in Asheville, Harold Town. I don't know if you ever heard of that name.
No?
He's no, he's not in that picture at all. That's the rest.
Is he still around, or is he passed?
No, he's down. He lives in Randolph. Harold Town. He's a big, tall guy.
So you went to, you could now, when you entered the Army, what was where did you do your boot camp? Basic
Fort
training?
Dix.
Fort Dix?
Fort Dix.
How long were you at Fort Dix then?
Well, we were all through basic there, and then we went to, they didn't know what to do when we got out of basic. So we need a lot of truck drivers in Korea. So then we went to truck driver school. And I got my license for tractor trailer and all that stuff, you know, and in the meantime, we was all set to get married, and so my wife made the arrangements, and the only way I could do that was on a weekend pass. So we as soon as I got out of truck driver school, and that was all done with, and we so I got to go home, and on the weekend, come home Friday night. And Saturday morning, she had arrangements made, and we were married on Saturday afternoon. And that was, then we had to head right back down to Fort Dix, go back down there. So we took off in our old car, scuttled down there. The car broke down once. On the way down, we got down there, and I've got lung problems. I run out of breath right now. But so then we found a place for her to stay down there. And I had to beat it over to the camp, and we got over there, and well, that's my oxygen thing.
Yeah, take your time. We're in no rush. We're all day.
Oh, that's fine. And then we found a place for her to stay. And we got our orders we had to take off for San Francisco. So we got out there in Camp. You ever heard of Camp Stoneman?
Heard of them? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
George Stoneman, named after I think the guy from Buckeye, right?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
General, he's a Civil War general
Oh.
from Buckeye.
I don't know how he ever got out there, but
He became governor of California. He was quite a guy.
is that right?
Yeah. Anyways, how long were you there at Stoneman?
Well, that's another story. We got there and processed everything and everything. Then we got our orders. We were supposed to go down in San Francisco Bay and get on the ship on New Year's. And the other group went ahead of us. They had to be down there. I don't know, it was probably a month before that. Because what happened is they lost my pay records. They wouldn't let me go until. So I lost all my buddies and everything. You know,
They left.
I went through basic with. And here I am sitting around the barracks with no money and nobody to talk to, and
No place to go.
no place to go. So when finally my orders came through, it was New Year's Eve, 1952. Yeah, we all got on the meantime, some new guys just came in. And I mixed in with them, and we got on the ship. And we knew he was going to Korea eventually, but we landed. There was 12 days across the Pacific, and the Pacific was about as rough as it'll ever get. And I was up and down, up and down. About 80% of the guys, I think, had got seasick, you know.
What was the name of the ship you were on?
I can't remember. Patrick.
Oh.
You know, it says Patrick or something like that. And there was 7,000 guys on that ship.
Wow.
In 12 days going over.
You seasick?
Tell me about it. Well, and you try to spend as much time as you could up on deck, you know. But that's where everybody else was. And then I went, like I say, 12 days. Well, Pacific, that's the roughest time of the year. We got come into Yokohama and got off the ship there, and it was beautiful over there. It was nice and warm, and then we was, I don't know, we was there for, I can't remember now whether it was a week or a couple of weeks. And the food, oh my God, I couldn't eat enough. Because, you know, I hadn't been eating all the way over. And then we got our orders and everything to go to Korea. When we got into Korea, we came into they flew us up into the big airstrip up by Seoul, and there was probably about 6 of us. Our orders said we had to go up to Seoul, then we got in Seoul. We had to find our own way to get back down to Busan. I mean, there was no transportation for us, no nothing. And
That's a long distance.
well, yeah, it was quite a way. Oh, I don't know. It must be 100 miles or something like that. And we got down there and they dumped us off in the night. It was a night like this day, the weather is today out here. You know, terrible, snowing and blowing. And they let the big flap down the back of the plane. Okay, you guys, out. No lights, you couldn't see nothing. It was pitch black. He says, we'll see you. Door went back up and around. The plane made around a circle and come back and took right off again. Left us out, and all we could see was a little light way off in the distance. We went over, and that was the terminal. So we got over there, and no heat, no nothing in there. And just a few Koreans walking around in there. And one guy says, be sure to tie your stuff down because if you go to sleep, it might not be there in the morning. So we hit our duffel bags and all that, you know. And we got in there and we finally got a little sleep. The next morning, somebody found out we could grab a train that went down to Busan. So we all, I think there was about 6 of us. The train went real slow, you know, not much faster than you can walk, I guess. We all jumped, the first boxcar that came along with the door open, we all jumped in there. And of course it was one of them old narrow gauge trains, you know, all over the place. And we got down there and some of the guys, they come to a stop every once in a while. And they go a few miles and there'll be another stop. Some of the guys thought, well, this must be where we get off. We don't know where to get off. And some of them said, well, this is it right here. And they jumped off and you come to find out, you know, it wasn't the right place. So we stuck with it and we got down to Busan. And that was the largest airstrip in Korea. K9, was it? Something like that.
I think that's right, yeah.
And we went over to the headquarters down there, and they told us what tents to go in. You go over to that tent over there, and we thought it was intense, like this weather. And we went over and the guy said, well, you're right over there in the end, right over in the corner. That's where we got you fixed. So we went over there, or I went over there, and I took everything I had in my duffel bag, my overcoat and everything, and to put on, you know, to keep warm. The snow was blowing in underneath the flaps. And but that was it. We found our home.
How long were you there then?
Up until November of 93. Yeah, 93. And we stayed there. And then let's see, they flew us out of there. Flew us out of, and then we landed in I think it was Seattle. And then we got processed through that and everything. And they flew us from there to to Buffalo from Seattle. And we got in Seattle or in Buffalo, and of course she knew ahead of time. My wife knew ahead of time I was coming, so she met me there, and that was Thanksgiving time, was it? Yeah. And there we stayed overnight there. We took off for home on the next day. And then I only had was it a week home or something like that? And then I had to report back down to Camp Kilmer. So I gets down there, and they process done, go through the process and stuff. We got down there, and we got all our processing done and everything, and they sent it. I think we went home then. I believe that was the end of it, I guess.
When you were at Busan, what was your role there?
I worked in the mortar pool.
Mortar pool?
Yeah, I put in all the construction equipment, the bulldozers and these big pans that they move dirt with.
Sure.
And then they had the asphalt plant there. And our job was to maintain that longest strip in Korea. So I think it was 9,000 feet or something like that. They had an asphalt plant there, and this was like a mortar pool where we were. There was probably 20 trucks there, and we had to take care of. And I had my own truck, really, when I got, after there a while, I had that. It shows it's a big water, all these big trucks there. My job was to water down the roads because it got so dusty up there. Because they were hauling gravel and everything. And that big, I'm trying to think where in the book here where Harold Town is there.
What rank did you get to?
Well, I was a corporal. And then if I'd stayed in, they wanted to know if I wanted to stay, And I said, no. I would have made sergeant then. But no way.
How were the Koreans, the South Koreans, to work with? What was your relationship with them?
Well, they were all right. They were more or less. After the last couple of months, I was mortar pool sergeant. I was in charge of dispatching and for work, sending these guys out to work, and they were all right. You had to kind of watch them. They'd like to get their hands. They were sticky fingered,
Mm-hmm.
like tools and so forth.
I see baseball gloves here. You guys play baseball at all? These couple of Koreans who got baseball gloves on.
Oh, they might have, yeah. Yeah.
So did you find what? As you're there, that's the Air Force base, the principal Air Force base in South Korea. Did you get a lot of information as to what was going on north of you?
Not really. We worked 7 days a week. We never got any information from anybody, unless somebody higher ups or something, said something to somebody. But other than that, we didn't know what was going on. But then it was all over. I think it was August of '93. And then we, that's when they started downsizing over Korea, They kept bringing more guys in, and they'd transfer them out of that big air base where I was. They'd bring them, dump them off there, and then they'd fly them up to the war zone. which was up above Seoul, and they, but then they didn't need any more. I know they kept sending supplies over. They sent, all kinds of food and all that stuff, and you could have anything you wanted over there for a meal or go and eat or anything you wanted. It was quite an experience.
You controlled a lot of people. You gave them assignments for work.
Yeah.
Was there any sort of humorous incident, something that you would say, "Hey, Greg, Phil, you won't believe this happened to one of my soldier friends," or anything kind of funny?
Well, I know one thing, they didn't have any toilet facilities over there, and we kept they run down to the rice paddy or something, and then they got to arguing about who was going to have who was going to get all the waste to come out. I think we built a 4-holer, and we had these little 25-gallon buckets we slid in the back, And then the Koreans, they got to fighting about who was going to have. We had to make a list of who was going to get the buckets. So they come over with their A-frame. They had an A-frame. They set on the 3 prongs on like this. And they come over with that, and they have about a 20-gallon barrel or a wooden barrel on the back. They had it poked full of straw, And then they take these 2 guys to take out, and they dump everything in that barrel, and it's poking full of straw again. The wind splash out, and they used to get in a hassle. Who's going to get that?
Well, I understand that. Yeah, that'd be good. Wow.
And down the rice paddies they went. And just dumped it in the rice paddies.
Yeah.
And the women were down there planting rice. And poking them one by one. And we got a kick out of that. But you had to try to, well, then when they ate, all they had was fish. They go down by every day they go down by the ocean. The ocean was right there. The airstrip went right out into the ocean. If they didn't make it, they landed in the water. And
did that happen frequently?
No, but it did a couple of times.
Did you?
Yeah. And you wonder why some of them big planes. Of course, our tents were only like 100 feet away from the airstrip, and they'd come in there all hours of the day and night. Come in to land and jet fighters and all that, and you didn't get an awful lot of sleep. After a while, I guess you got kind of used to it.
So you were in tents the whole time you were there?
No, then towards the end, then they come around and build a bunch of Quonset huts. And we had a really nice setup in the Quonset huts, but then we got, that was like living in a motel room or something, But that's, it came too little, too late. And then we had, there's all kinds of different experiences there in that book there I could show you.
Sure, why don't you just leaf through it, and if something comes to mind, that would be terrific.
There's, you take a page like this. This is bombed out, this looks like bombed out Seoul here.
Were these your pictures? Did you take them?
Yeah, I took the pictures.
They didn't have any problems with you taking photography? I mean, there was no restrictions?
No. I didn't even have a camera when I was over there, but some guy needed $10 real bad. And I bought his camera. In fact, I still got the camera in here. They had a little church here you could go to if you wanted to. This is our tool shed. There was a tractor, it was a trailer off a tractor trailer. We used that for our tools. And Harold Town, I don't know if you ever knew him. He was from Asheville. His dad was Harold Town too.
Okay.
And they'd done asphalt work around Jamestown. Driveways and all that stuff. There's all our... Well, then when I was over there for a few months, he says, how would you like to go up and work up by the Suwan Reservoir? That's almost up to Seoul. And he said, we got truck drivers here, we don't know what to do with it. I don't know why they send so many truck drivers over here. We don't have no trucks to drive. So we wanted to go up to the heavy equipment school up there. That would be great. They kind of asked us, whether they were going to send us anyhow. And I was up there for probably, a month, I guess. We took one of these 20-ton cranes with just about 15 of us guys. We took the thing all apart right down to the axle, and then just took it all apart and then just had to put it back together again. That's my truck I drove there. I had that. That's me up there. There's a little pond like up on the side of the mountain. I had to suck the water out of it. And that was for watering the roads. And the roads got so dusty, it was unbelievable. Harold has some of their beer over there.
How was the beer?
Kind of that 2-point beer they call it. It didn't have much alcohol. In the garage building, and we had to build that. This old rickety thing here, we just took scraps and we didn't have any real lumber there. We had the Koreans there, would be there to change tires. This is when they first started bringing in black people,
Mm-hmm.
They were mixing them with us. And
how did that go? Was there a easy transition or not? Was it hard?
Yeah, there was no problem at all.
Yeah.
Some of the nicest guys I run into were, the black, and one of them there kept sending me Christmas cards every year, and the nicest guy you could ask for. There's a whole bunch of them here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 of them right there.
They get along well with the Koreans also?
Yeah. Well, they like to go out in the village. You know what I mean? Looking for
Was there much interaction between the locals in Busan and military? Socially, was there interaction?
No, not really.
Yeah.
You know, some of the officers and stuff, they had their own little club there, and they'd kind of hang together. Once in a while, they'll come down through there and see what you were doing or something, but I don't know what they did otherwise. Yeah, there's a whole bombed out Seoul there. And these people here would, to pay their taxes in North Korea, they told the people they could clean bricks, take the bricks that were all knocked down, the buildings and so forth, and clean the bricks so they could use them over again. And they'd sit there by the hour, just chipping them in, knocking the mortar off them. And this is the main building. They made that into a PX. But all the windows are blowed out of most of them. I was trying to find that Harold Town, but you probably wouldn't know him anyhow.
So what's when people ask you when you came back from the war, Korean War, well, first of all, did anybody even ask what you did there? You just sort of came back to the community here?
Yeah, I just go, yeah. And a friend of mine worked at Torah Plumbing down in Brooklyn Square.
Right.
And I was kind of looking around for a job. Because I could have went back with Mount Rockwell, I suppose. But this sounded, started out as a plumbing apprentice at Tordos. So that was in like March of '54 or something like that. And there I was for 20 years, I guess.
Good for you.
Maybe you knew Ed Tordoff, or
I knew of him, yeah.
Ed Jr. and Ed Sr. And they're both gone now. And then I went to work for Circle Mechanical. Well, it wasn't Circle Mechanical then. I went to work for Davis out of Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
They were down here doing a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
And the Covenant Manor and all that, remodeling that, and the WCA Hospital, Jones Hill, and the Hotel Jamestown. And I worked at that for, well, then we got to working down to Olean General Hospital down there, and that's my whole working career.
You know, we've had a chance to talk to a lot of World War II veterans and have reached out to talk to some of the Korean War veterans. But it's been interesting to Phil and I that not as many people from the Korean War vets really want to just talk about it. You know?
Yeah.
Do you get a sense why that might be?
They didn't want to talk about it?
Yeah, they just didn't want to revisit it.
I wouldn't mind going back over there.
Yeah, yeah.
And, I mean, the time went so fast over there, it seems to me. I mean, we worked like 7 days a week. And once in a while they'd give you, if a guy wanted to go to a church or something like that, they, you know, but I didn't see anything. I mean, if you kept busy, you know, I could see if you were just sitting around in a tent someplace, you know, you get bored.
Right.
But as we went along, we just kind of took it in stride, I guess.
Did you have any sense of, because there's a lot of severe fighting much north of you, as to what was going on? Did you get a sense?
No. We had to watch out for snipers and stuff down where we were. You know, every once in a while the air police would Actually, what we worked for was the Air Force. They call it Skywalk. They called our outfit. It was a special category Army with the Air Force. We was in the Army, but we still got paid by the Air Force, and we done all their work, you know, on the airstrip. And you tell somebody a Skywalk, what the heck does that mean? No. But
Well, what was that again? How would you call it?
Skywalk. Let's see, S-C-A-R-I-A-F. How did it spell it? Skywalk. Special category Army with Air Force. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Did you have Air Force officers then above you, or?
No, they were all Army. But the Air Force is all around there. They did all the guard work and APs, Air Police, and they did mostly security work.
Of course, that was only a few years after the Air Force spun off from the Army anyway, so
Yeah.
they were probably pretty well used to working together.
Yeah. We,
So, George, what's the question we should be asking you? Well, maybe you can help us. You've probably told a war story or two that we should be asking you that we forgot to ask. Are we missing something?
Well, of course, he never got into fighting, although he had to always carry his rifle, around all the time.
Right.
we just had to be prepared. We carried a little carbine.
M1?
Yeah. Well, not the M1, it was a little carbine, a little short.
Shortage,
Threw that in my, because I was driving that big truck like I told you, and we took that and threw it behind the seat, and I never saw it for months. I finally dug it out one day, and it was all covered with dust. Probably wouldn't even have worked, but everybody had to carry one. And every once in a while, they'd get a little, blast them way up the mountain. Well, it was the most terrible land you could ever see. It was like a Grand Canyon or something. I mean, it wasn't. There was hardly no trees, and there was no nothing, just rock and uphill, downhill, and how anybody could live there, I don't know. And then every low spot there was a little water, maybe. That's where they plant their rice. It was right across from the motor pool. There was our motor pool, which is a rickety sort of thing. They had a Korean cemetery, and they buried them people, just like they do over here. And they put them in the grave, and then they covered up, and then everybody would bring fruit and vegetables, perfectly good food. I don't know where they got it all, because there's none of it over there. And they'd pile it right on top of the grave. And there it was sitting rot, And then people up there were starving for food, You kind of wonder about some of their beliefs, I guess.
Yeah.
They lived in little beat up old shacks, they live in. And they sleep, they have a porch out in the front, and they go out there and sleep in the summertime. In the winter, in the middle of the actual big room inside, we had a big pile of dirt. And then they had ductwork. Any old thing they could think of to go over to this room and go over to this room. Then they'd build a fire out there, see, and under that pile of dirt, right by it. And then the warm air would go. But they didn't have winters like we have. Up in North Korea, probably did. North Korea was almost like another country. I mean, there was woods and trees and everything up there. You could see them from up by the Suwan Reservoir, which is just below Seoul. Yeah, you know, it looked like a regular woods like this.
Down south where you were, what did they use to heat the houses with? The structures?
Well, they anything they could get their fingers on, you know, like Creighton lumber and things like that. They're mostly just out of mud and sticks and junk, you know, anything they could pick up. It was interesting as far as that goes. How they survived, I don't know, because they were pretty well beat up, you know, down there. North Korea was going right at it up there, you know. And they were always, I imagine they were always sneaking across the border, the 38th parallel, and that's where the snipers would come across. And well, maybe we're going to get into something again over there. I don't know.
Yeah, it keeps surfacing, doesn't it? So, what do you think back today? You were there in Korea, South Korea, 1952 to
54.
52 to 54. And you think about it today. Did we learn any lessons at all from that experience? Was there any?
I don't know. I don't think we did learn anything from that. We just spent they don't even call it a war, really.
Yeah, police action.
Yeah. But they what?
Tell about all the vehicles that they didn't fix in the store.
They left a lot of vehicles behind, didn't they?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they sent over for like in the motor pool, they sent home for a new carburetor for the truck or something, and you'd wait and wait, and pretty soon they sent the whole truck over instead of the carburetor. They could have took the carburetor off the truck and just send that over. But things like that. And then there was acres of fields over there of equipment that all they need is one little part for it or something. And there they sat. And it's just, the whole time I was over there, the same vehicles.
Well, this has been fantastic, George. You've been really wonderfully insightful.
Well, I forgot a lot of stuff. That's 60 years ago.
Well, the good news, you didn't forget the fact it's Valentine's Day tomorrow.
Yeah.
Don't forget that, because
Yeah.
she will make.
Yeah.
You married well.
I haven't got it through my head yet, I guess.
You got another day.
Yeah.
Another day. Well, thank you. Thank you for opening your house today. This has been terrific.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
What's your birthday, George?
May 15th.
Okay, thank you.
31, yeah.
Yep, 1930.
That information. I'm going to take a couple of shots, pictures of your scrapbook if I could.
I could tell you one thing.
Yeah.
When we got married, we only had, we got married on a weekend. Yes, we got married on a Saturday. And then we went down to Warren for just overnight. And we found a place to stay, and we went to this little Italian restaurant and had spaghetti that night. And then, of course, the next morning we had to head for Fort Dix. But on our 60th anniversary, the restaurant is still there, but it's expanded and it has a new name. And so we took all of our whole family down there and treated them on our 60th anniversary, the same place we ate when we got married.
What's the name of the restaurant?
It's called Chido's now.
Oh, Chido's, yeah. Oh, yeah, I know where that is.
And that's where we ate. It was just a little tiny restaurant.
Yeah.
And they have a picture of it behind the bar.
That's cute. That's cute. I didn't get your first name.
My name is Grace.
Grace.
Who's the boss?
Yeah.
Thank you.
The chief.
So how'd you two meet?
Marlon Rockwell.
Oh, Marlon Rockwell, okay.
They're both shy. The guy said they're talking to him, they're asking me for a date. And
Oh, really?
once he asked me for a date, then we
Yeah.
were inseparable.
Which one is you in this picture?
What do we do?
Right here.
That one there? Okay.
Cute.
That's Corkery. You ever heard the name Corkery?
Yeah. he's-
Leo Corkery?
Leo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Saint
That's
Bonaventure.
Leo Corkery. Well, this is his son here.
I'll be darned.
What did he do about Bonaventure?
Well, Leo Corkery was a big athlete down at St. Bonaventure. This is his son.
Yeah, he was a tall, kind of a tall guy. Do they have the date on there?
Yep, May 31st, 1952. Is this you here at truck driver school?
That's probably over in Korea.